Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Pretty Pink Posh's May 2024 release is now available, and if you are interested, I do have links in the description box below. So let me show you everything that's included in the release. I'll start with the new shaker beads. There are 4 different sets. Starting on the left, we have Sweet Dreams, then Spring Breeze, and I will be using the Spring Breeze set later on in the video. Then the super colorful mix is called Spring Pop, and the final set with gold, silver, and white is called Celebration. Pretty Pink Posh's shaker bead sets are perfect for shaker cards. They give it that really good shaker sound. Now moving on to the stamp sets. The first one is Sentiment Strips Occasions. Lots of great sentiments for baby, marriage, anniversary. There's congratulations. And the Sentiment Strip stamp sets work perfectly with Pretty Pink Posh's Sentiment Strips die set. The next stamp set is called Baby Animals. Lots of adorable animal images. There are a few hearts, the large sentiment baby, plus some smaller sentiments. Welcome, love you forever, and hello. And there are coordinating dies to go around all the images and the large word baby. The next stamp set is called Baby Basics. It has the outline of a onesie plus some stripes. You could decorate the onesie. There's a sweet little bear, a duck, wooden block spelling out the word baby. There's some bows, baby rattle, a bottle, pacifier, plus the sentiment, hello little one, congratulations, and welcome little one. The next stamp set is called Decorative Hexagons. There are coordinating dies. I love this style of stamp set. It has the outline, a solid piece, plus a few decorative pieces that you can stamp on the inside. Pretty Pink Posh has released several standalone die sets this month. The first one is called Baby Rattle. You can use this to create a fun shaker, or you could use the dies to create a non-shaker baby rattle. The next set is Baby Mug Editions. This is a great add-on to Pretty Pink Posh's mug die set, or you could use the pieces separately. Lots of adorable images on this set. There are a couple of new sentiment die sets. We have Best Wishes Shadow and Happily Ever After. Both of them have the words and also the shadow pieces. And both of the sets feature the fun Pretty Pink Posh font design. The next die set is called Stacked Squares. And I will be using this set on my cards after I show the new release. The scallop square piece and also the stitch square piece is all one die. So you can use it to cut out 3 little windows all in a row, or you could use it to cut out separate pieces. Plus it has several other images to add to your card. The next die set is called Onesie Shaker. It features the large onesie, has a little ruffle collar, a heart, star, moon, and also a duck. Next we have Graduation Cap. The large graduation cap with a tassel, and you could use this set for a shaker, or you could use it as a non-shaker. Perfect with graduation season coming up. This set is called Floral Semicircle. There are 2 dies in this set, and I'm holding an A2 size card up to the semicircle so you can see the large size. I love that it has the option of the large stitch semicircle or the floral design. I think this will be a really fun set to add lovely detail to a card. There's a new Eyelet die set, this time squares. There are 4 different sizes, and I love how they have this stitch detail as the inside frame. Next up we have Champagne Flute. This is another die set you can use to create a shaker image, or you can use the pieces to create a non-shaker image. I love that it includes the 3 little bubble pieces. The next die set is called Bows. It's always fun to have a variety of bow pieces to add to your images. For some of the bows, it's just one die piece, and for others, there are several layers. So you can add a little extra detail. And I like that some of the bows have the stitch detail, while others don't. The final die set is called Big Celebration Cupcake. This is a really fun set. There's a new wrapper for the cupcake with stars and circles, a new frosting piece, strawberries, citrus, blueberries, a couple of little ants, sunglasses, stars, fireworks, confetti, and the sentiment USA. Pretty Pink Posh released 5 new stencil sets. The first one is a single stencil called Baby Words. It includes Baby, Bundle of Joy, and Little One. There's another single stencil called Fancy Lattice. Then we have a few layered stencil sets. This one is called Layered Baby Wreath. Lots of really sweet baby images to create a fun background. Then we have Layered Onesies, super cute design. And the final stencil is 2 pieces. It's called Stacked Scallops. And I'll open up this set so you can see the 2 different layers. This would be a really fun stencil set to create a background on your card. You could use it to create a bunch of colorful scallop borders. So that is everything that's included in Pretty Pink Posh's May 2024 release. And if you are interested in any of the items, I do have links in the description box below. I also have 2 cards to share with you using some of the new products. Both of the cards feature the new Stacked Squares die set. I used the scallop square die 2 times on a craft cardstock background to create 6 little windows. I put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back side. Now I'll attach a piece of acetate. And this first card will be a shaker card. Next, I'll add some thin foam strips. These are from scrapbook.com. It's their 1/8 inch foam in the 2mm thickness. I'll add one all along the outside of the frame. And I'll make sure not to leave a gap between any of the foam pieces. Since I am adding the small shaker beads, I don't want to lose any of those pieces. Now I'll add some strips on the very inside. And I'll also add some strips between each of the scallop squares. That way I don't have to fill up the background with a ton of shaker beads. And having the separate windows, I can also add some different shaker mixes. I'm trying to get the foam pieces as close as possible to the edge of the scallop squares, but I still don't want the foam to show. In 3 of the windows, I'll be adding the new Spring Breeze shaker beads. And in the other 3 windows, I'll be adding an assortment of confetti colors, and this is part of Pretty Pink Posh's Confetti Wheel number 2. I'll first remove the release paper. I find it easier to remove the release paper before adding all the shaker beads versus after, since I'm more likely to spill everything if I fill it all up and then try to remove the release paper. From the confetti mix, I'm using the blue, yellow, and green. Put just a little bit inside 3 of the windows. And if I notice any of those confetti pieces stuck together, since they are clay, I am separating them. Now I'll pour in some of the shaker beads inside the other 3 windows. When using the confetti mixes for shaker cards, you don't get that really good shaker sound, but by doing half and half with the shaker beads and the confetti, now you have that really fun shaker sound. And if you've used the beads before, you know what I'm talking about. Now I'll seal everything in place with a piece of cardstock. And this is some pre-embossed cardstock from Basil. I'll flip over the card, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. All of the cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. The Stacked Squares die set also has several different images. There's a heart, a balloon, a star, and a flower. My card will be featuring the flower. For a sentiment, I'll be adding Sending a Springtime Hello. And this is from the Sentiment Strips Easter stamp set that was released earlier this year. I cut it out using the Sentiment Strips die set. I stamped the sentiment on white cardstock, and the scallop layered piece I used some gold mirror cardstock from my stash. I'll be adding 6 white flowers. I used some white shimmer cardstock for the flowers and yellow glitter paper for the center of the flowers. After adhering the center inside each of the flowers, I'll flip them all over, and I will pop them up using some foam dimension from scrapbook.com. This is their large rounds, the 1 millimeter thickness. It's the perfect size to fit behind each of the flowers. I'll first add the sentiment in the very center of the card, put glue on the back and adhere it in place. Now I'll add 1 flower inside each of the shaker windows. And I'm trying to have the flowers all the same direction with 2 of the petals straight up and down. I'll add the 3 flowers on the top, then I'll add the 3 flowers on the bottom. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. When making this card, I selected the cardstock colors based on the Spring Breeze shaker bead mix. I think the teal and craft looks so pretty with the white, yellow, and blue. After creating the background for the shaker card, I had all these leftover scallop square die cut pieces, so I decided to make a second card to use up some of those squares. This card will be featuring the same stamp and die sets. For the background of the card, I have the same teal pre-embossed cardstock, and I cut it down to 5 1/4 of an inch by 4 inches. I'll layer it on some white shimmer cardstock, put adhesive on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. In addition to the scallop squares, I'll also be using some of the stitch square die cuts, and I cut those out of vellum. I'll add a little bit of glue in the center of the stitch square die cuts and adhere them on the scallop square die cuts. And I know you can see the glue through the vellum, but no worries, I will be covering them up with some of the flowers. I used more of the white shimmer cardstock for the flowers and yellow glitter paper for the center of the flowers. And I will be popping them up with the large round foam from scrapbook.com. So once I attach the flowers on the squares, you can't see the glue. I decided I would also pop up the scallop squares using more foam dimension from scrapbook.com. And I did have to grab a brand new roll. This is my favorite foam, so I do go through quite a few rolls. This is their 1/4 inch foam in the 1 millimeter thickness. So it doesn't add a lot of extra dimension. I'll put foam on the back of the 3 squares, make sure to get good coverage. Then I'll remove the release paper and add the squares on the background. And I'm adhering the squares at different angles just for some extra interest. I'll start with this square on the left side, and I will overlap each of the squares just slightly. I'm using the same sentiment, Sending a Springtime Hello. I cut it out using the Sentiment Strips die set, and I did pop it up using some foam dimension. I'll remove the release paper and adhere it in the lower right-hand corner. For embellishments, I'm using some confetti mix from Pretty Pink Posh. This is the sparkling clear color. I'll pour just a small amount in a wooden bowl, and that helps cut down on the static from the confetti pieces. The beautiful wooden bowl I'm using was custom made by my father. To pick up the confetti pieces, I'm using scrapbook.com's Craft Pro Pick tool. I'll first add a small drop of Barely Art glue, use the wax tip of the tool to pick up the confetti mix, then press them in place. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Now here's another look at the 4 cards I made using some new items from Pretty Pink Posh's May 2024 release. If you are interested in any of the products I showed in this video, I do have links in the description box below. I'm also participating in a blog hop to help celebrate the new release. Be sure to head over to my blog for more inspiration and a chance to win a Pretty Pink Posh gift card. And I have a link to my blog in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.